Next, we'll hear from actor Pedro Pascal performing an interview we did with a man named Mark. First, here's Pedro Pascal.
My first sexual experiences were with my first cousin. Two taboos going on major. So there was always this intrigue. It heightened the experience to some degree. I was 9 when I had my first anal experience. He was like a big football player. And then I had a girlfriend. I had girlfriends, you know. And when we were teenagers, we had some family get-together, and I remember he was sitting outside, and he said, "Can I ask you a question? You're not gay, are you?" And I was like, I felt like one of those dogs that was like hearing noises, like my head was like doing like going, huh? What? Why are you? Well, yeah, I'm gay. I mean, what do you think we've been doing for the last, like 7 years? Now I understand a little more about, the subtleties of identity, but back then I was kind of like, what do you think? I've been sucking your cock and you've been sticking your dick up my ass for like the 7 years. What do you think that was about? Ironically, my sister was having a parallel relationship with his sister, so we were like having parallel homosexual sexual experiences with our first cousins. How common is that? I don't know. And when I got here to New York, that's when a lot of my drug use, sort of took off. I would go out to the clubs and I'd do ecstasy and cocaine and or whatever. And I met somebody at the gym and we became boyfriends. He was a Buddhist. I thought he was going to save me. He was really hot. He had this great ass. Oh my God, he was a dancer, former ballet dancer. And I remember I saw his butt and I was like, dee, 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 ding, 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 But we moved in with each other, and we had 6 cats, and he had all these birds, and he had all this art, and we were like, we were crammed in, and I had this experience. At the time, I thought I was dying. It turned out it was a panic attack, and it turned out like I had asthma when I was a kid, and so it had come back, and I was having a panic attack because of the asthma. And that doctor, he asked me, have you had an HIV test recently? And I was like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. I knew I was negative. And, I got a phone call. And this was before they had a lot of laws that prevented this kind of thing. But the doctor called me and said, he told me I was positive over the phone. I could count on my hands, one hand, the times in my life that I'd had unprotected sex. I probably had gotten drunk, one night where I slept with some guy in a hotel, I think, and he had told me that he was wearing a condom, and I don't know if he did. I was drunk. And back then, when I found out in '97, it was just after, I knew people who had died, and I was totally terrified of getting it, but I always had this kind of fatalistic, idea that it was inevitable. And nowadays, there's been a wane in the message, the safe sex message, because of this idea that HIV isn't as dangerous as it used to be. So it's made it less of a fear thing, and so guys are wanting to have unprotected sex. So the argument is that it is a natural inclination. Guys are always gonna want to have unprotected sex. So, okay, maybe, but if we didn't have AIDS, I would say, yeah, sure, absolutely. Go fuck until your dick falls off, But AIDS is still a reality, so my attitude is that no one has the right to unprotected sex. I haven't had sex in 5 years. after the third or fourth failed relationship in, as many years, I just became disillusioned with the whole phenomenon of being sexualized and putting myself out there for that kind of rejection. I found love with a psychologist in Austin, sort of a blonde, blue-eyed, corn-fed Midwesterner, muscles, and really sweet. And we met at a bar and we became really good friends, and I fell in love with him. And I remember, at one point I said, I think, I think I'm in love with you. And he was like, oh no, I don't feel that way about you. And it broke my heart. And I remember going to my mom, and she said, oh, sweetheart, I want you to meet somebody that returned the love that you felt, like a man,